Second half of section 12.4 is more properties of logarithms. So we've already done the multiplying and the dividing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the power rule of logarithms. Now if you've got a logarithm that is to a power, raised to a power, what you can do is take that power and move it out in front of the log and multiply it by the log of that number. So the log of x to the r power is the same as r times the log of x. All right, so let's see what this looks like when we write these logs as a multiple. So with this, all you're going to do is you're going to take the log, and if you've got a power involved in your log, you're going to take that power out in front and multiply it. So this will be 6. Your power becomes your coefficient, if you will. So 6 times the log base 4 of a. And that's it. All right. Now it gets a little bit trickier with something like this. You've got x to the third, and you'll say, well, I see the x to the third, but what do I do with this square root thing? If you'll remember, the square root symbol can be put into a power, an exponent. So what we've got here is log base b of x. Remember, this is to the 3/4 power. Remember, that's what this means. All right, so you've got the root is a fraction power. So once you've done that, then you can just put it out front, and so it's 3/4 times the log base b of x. All right, this allows us to maneuver the logs around and be able to solve them easier later. All right, so now what if you have a fraction in the number that you're taking the log of? Well, in that case, you've got to remember that if an exponent is in the denominator, that's the negative exponent. So we can bump it up and say, well, this is actually log base b of x to the -3. So if you change the sign on the exponent, that changes whether it's in the numerator or the denominator of your number. Remember that? Okay, so now you've got the power. Now move it out front. So -3 times the log base b of x. All right, you got it? I think you do. Now that I think you've got it, now we're going to go backwards. I'm going to give you the answer, and I want you to back up and give me the problem. All right? So this will be right as a power. Now, when you're writing a log as a power, I want you to be careful. Make sure that your exponents don't have any negatives or any fractions. All right? You can't have negatives or fractions in your exponents when you're getting it into the simplest form. So with this is your coefficient, so that comes over and becomes your power now. So the log stays the same, log base 4 of x, and now this, the coefficient becomes your power. It just flips around. All right? Same thing here. You look for what's in front of the log. All of this is going to stay the same, and this becomes your power. So log base b of 5 to the -2 power. Oh, but wait a minute. I said you can't have a negative exponent. So you know what to do. A negative exponent, remember, flips that down into the denominator. So that's the same as log base b of 1/5 squared. And now one more step, because 5 squared, oh, you can do 5 squared. 5 times 5 is 25. So your final answer, on the edge of the screen here, is 1 over log base b of 1/25 is its simplified form as a power. All right, one more. Now we've got, this is our coefficient, so this becomes our power. Log base 7 of y with a 2/3 power. And you say, wait, I can't have fractions in my exponents. Well, get rid of it. All right, you know how to do that. So this is going to be log base 7 of y. Remember, the numerator stays your power. The denominator is the root. All right, so y to the 2/3 power. And you're done. Easy. Okay, now here's where it does get a little bit tricky and difficult. what happens is you now know the product rule, you know the quotient rule, and you know the power rule. I want you to put all of them into the same problem. You can do this. So what I want you to do is combine the properties, and I want you to expand this log and bring it out to its to its expanded form. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, well, I've got a couple of things going on here. I've got powers, so I'm going to bring something out to the front, but I also, this is multiplied by this. Okay, so you're going to break it up, and I didn't give myself enough space, so we'll kind of color code. Okay, so you've got log base 3 of a to the 4th times, so what you can do is times b squared, so a to the 4th b squared. If you remember, if you multiply the bases, you can add the log, or not the bases. If you're multiplying, you can add those logs. All right, so now here's where I'm going to put it in a different color so you can see it. So now we're going to simplify it even further because we have these powers. And the power, remember, is going to come out as a coefficient. So now we have 4 times the log base 3 of a plus 2 times the log base 3 of b. Easy. All right, so the biggest thing with these is going to be to break it down and to look at it slowly and not get all crazy, because like this looks crazy and wild, but it's not. What you've got is, you've got log base b of this z cubed minus, now what you're going to do is you're going to subtract everything that's in that denominator. So you've got minus log base b of x, and now this is x times y, so we can add log base b of the y. Okay, do you see what I did? So this is the log of this divided by that, so it's this log minus this because we're dividing, and now because these are multiplied, see how it gets tricky? It's a lot all in the same problem. So now you just use everything you know and take it one step at a time and break it apart and break it apart. So this is this times this, so this is log of x times log of y. We're almost done, but not quite, because now I'm going to do 2 steps in one here. I've got this power comes out, so this is going to be 3 log base b of z. Now this minus is going to distribute through. So you're going to have log base b of x minus log base b of y. And now you're done. Okay? Because now you don't have any powers and you don't have any parentheses. Everything's good to go. All right? Let's do one more like that, and then we'll put them together. Okay? So right now we're distributing, we're taking it apart, and then in a minute we'll put it all back together. So now we've got, okay, this is tricky. So we've got log base 3, and this is, now remember this square root is over the whole thing, so you can split it up. So this is a cubed square root of that, and b square root of that. So let's put it into, this is a to the 3 halves. And now we're dividing, so it's minus log base 3 b to the 1/2. Okay, do you see why I did that? Because this is a cubed, square root of a cubed equals a to the 3 halves power. And this was over b square root of b, which is b to the 1/2 power. And because these were divided, I subtracted their logs. Okay? Now, last thing for that one, you're going to take their powers and move them out front. So 3 halves log base 3 of a minus 1/2 log base 3 of b. And you're done. Okay? Now, now that you've done that, we're going to go backwards from what we just did. Now I want you to take this expanded form and I want you to put it together just as one log. All right, so now what you have to do is you have to say, well, we've got we've got powers. So we've got, I can't see. Here we go. So we've got these numbers out front. These are going to be powers. And this 2 is going to be a power. And we've got the subtraction, which means we're going to divide. So we're going to have log base b of 2 to the 4th divided by 3 squared. Do you see where I got that? I did it all in one step. Can you see it? So this is this log minus that, so it's going to be this divided by that. So this divided by this. And because these were out front, they became powers. So 2 to the 4th over 3 squared. And now I'm going to simplify that. Log base b. 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16. Over 3 times 3 is 9. And you're done. All right. Did I do too many steps in one? If I did, see me in class and say, whoa, 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 do that one step at a time. Let's do one more. This is also a subtraction, so it's going to be a division. So you're going to have the 5 divided by b, 5 over b, okay? So we're going to have log base 2, because this is subtraction, we have 5 over b. And all of this is in parentheses, and it's to the 1/2 power, and a 1/2 power is a square root. And that's all that one is. Because it's on the whole thing, you take the square root on the whole thing. You don't have to worry about the different parts. And that's it. That's all you do today. So make sure that you know each part separately, because then when you get down further, you're going to do all of those parts all at the same time. But remember, just one little piece at a time. All right, one little piece at a time. Don't look at the whole thing and get scared. Just do one step. Oh, I know this is a division, so I'm going to subtract them. I know this is a power, so it's going to be a coefficient now. All right, just one step at a time. You can do this. I'll see you later.